I wanted to see how QYLD would have performed in the month of January 2022 if you invested on the first day in January or the first day the markets were open on Monday all the way until the last day. We know that the markets went down fairly hard in the month of January here, and I wanted to see how QYLD would have performed if we invested $1,000 on the first market day of the month. So on January 3rd, which was a Monday, QYLD was sitting at $22.29, and on January 31st, it finished at $20.77. Here we can see January 3rd was $22.29, and January 31st was $20.77. So we come over to the spreadsheet here, and we can see that that is close to a negative 7% change or drop in your total overall value. However, they did have a dividend payout, and it was close to 20 cents per share for the month. Their expense ratio for the month was 0.05%. Their total overall annualized expense ratio is 0.60%. However, I took a normalized amount of just a monthly expense ratio, and that comes to be about 0.05%. I wanted to make sure that this calculation included the expense ratio. So with $1,000 invested, you would have owned close to 45 shares if you entered the market at this price right here. With $1,000, you would have received a total of $9.11 with this many shares in this dividend payout that they declared. Your normalized expenses for $1,000 in the month of January would have been 50 cents. So with all of that taken into account, that takes into account your $1,000 losing 7% of value minus your expenses plus your dividend received, and it comes to be about a minus 6% drop off of your $1,000. Let's go ahead and compare QYLD with a NASDAQ 100 index fund, or QQQ. QQQ tracks the NASDAQ 100. If I invested $1,000 in QQQ on the first day of the markets in January on the 3rd, I would have entered the market at $401.68. The value of my $1,000, the share dropped about close to 10%, so $363.05 at a close on January 31st. Now, they don't pay a dividend monthly, but I did normalize this figure out compared to their most previous dividend payout, and it comes to be about 14 cents per share, and their expense ratio is 0.02% if you normalize it out for the course of a year. With $1,000 invested, you would get 2.49 shares at $401. Your dividend received for your 2.5 shares, close to 14 cents, would be 35 cents for the month, and your expenses would have been close to 17 cents. So your February 1st balance would be $904. That $904 figure includes the 10% drop with your subtraction for your expenses plus the addition of your dividend received. All of that equals close to negative 9.6. You can see that QYLD outperformed QQQ. If we take a look and do the same things for RYLD versus an index fund for the Russell 2000 VTWO, and the same thing for XYLD, comparing that to VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, if you would have invested in Global X's covered call funds, QYLD, RYLD, and XYLD compared to the index trackers, compared to funds that track each respective index, you would have not lost as much in your portfolios. Now, I know this is just a small snapshot of the big picture. When it comes down to it, you really need to be looking at a lot longer time frame. However, some of these funds, such as RYLD and XYLD, have only been around for a few years. And there you have a quick snapshot of what January 2022 would have looked like if you invested in these 3 covered call funds compared to 3 ETFs that track each of the respective indexes. And with that, thanks for watching.